Okay, let's get right into it. In Blaine, Washington, a new housing development is on the table. The problem? A formal complaint alleges it's a direct threat to the town's drinking water. So, we're going to break down the risks and the call for action.
This map really gets to the heart of the issue. That outlined area, that's where 150 home development is planned. And the colored zones underneath it, well, those are what's known as critical aquifer recharge areas. Basically, that's the land where rainwater soaks into the ground to refill the water supply that Blaine's public wells depend on.
And this side-by-side view makes the whole thing even clearer. On the left, you've got the plan for the development, and on the right, you see those same critical water zones. You can see the direct overlap. They're proposing to put a high-density neighborhood right on top of the very land that feeds the city's water source.
So, in response to this, a citizen group called Water Planning Matters has filed a formal complaint. Their argument is that the city's review process had some pretty serious scientific and procedural flaws.
Now, a key concept you need to understand here is time of travel, or TOT. It's a critical measurement that basically estimates how fast a contaminant, like lawn chemicals or an oil spill, could travel from the surface, through the ground, and get into a drinking water well.
The complaint alleges some major gaps in the city's review process. It claims there was no specific time of travel model for this exact 49-acre project. It also says that active city wells were just left out of the developer's review. And the crucial stormwater calculations? Apparently, those were deferred until after the project was already approved.
And we're not just talking about abstract zones on a map. This close-up shows Blaine's actual municipal wells. Some of them are located right near the edge of the 10-year time of travel zone. That proximity, well, it puts them at a higher potential risk from any contamination at the development site.
Now, this is a really critical point, and it comes from the city's own wellhead protection plan from 1996. It says that because of the area's geology, the time it takes for contaminants to reach the shallow aquifer has to be treated as effectively instantaneous. Instantaneous. That just dramatically increases the potential risk.
The complaint also points to a major procedural issue. Apparently, when state and federal regulators tried to inspect the property, they were only given a limited tour and were denied the unrestricted access they needed to verify key water features.
So what is the complaint actually asking for? It's not trying to stop the development. What it's trying to do is get the Department of Health to enforce specific safety measures before any construction begins.
The request asks for 3 critical actions before any land is disturbed. First, give regulators full unrestricted site access. Second, mandate a new time of travel analysis for this specific 150-home layout. And third, require that groundwater monitoring is in place before construction starts.
This brings us to the final and most important part: what citizens can do to support this call for oversight to protect their public water supply.
The call to action is very direct. Citizens are being urged to contact the Department of Health and request a formal review of the Creekside project. The key things to bring up are the need for an unrestricted site visit for regulators and a new project-specific time of travel analysis.
You can find the Department of Health staff directory at this web address. The complaint urges citizens to contact these regulators directly, voice their concerns, and call for intervention to make sure protective measures are put in place to safeguard Blaine's public water supply.